So we all know about those property management fees for our investment properties, but have you ever thought about going away and doing it yourself, or maybe trying to figure out a way on how you can monitor your properties more closely? And then I thought to myself, well, what if it was possible to buy the house next door? Now, I mean, obviously, tenants deserve their privacy and whatnot, but imagine building your property portfolio solely from houses on your street. I mean, think about that. I mean, monitoring your properties would be as simple as walking outside. You would have time for your inspections, and as a busy property magnate, time is money, right? I mean, building your property portfolio of houses on the same street, that's pretty attractive, right? I mean, the major reason for that, when it comes time to sell, you could sell all the properties in a package. You will get rid of them all in one go, earning yourself quite a large lump sum, right? And, this would be after all the years of rental income from your same street. I mean, imagine just walking down your street. You'd literally feel like you're walking on a cloud. Imagine if you were the landlord for everyone on the street. I mean, that's a pretty inspiring thought. I mean, when you buy the house next door, you mainly get 3 advantages out of this method. The first one is obviously convenience. I mean, this goes a long way and makes it a lot easier to communicate with your tenants and, monitor the maintenance needs of the property as time goes on. But, I mean, by having a good relationship with tenants, wouldn't they have more of an incentive to stay long term? I don't know, maybe something to think about. And you got the second advantage, which is security. You're able to monitor the condition of your home. I mean, I'd say that's pretty advantageous. The third is that you'd likely be able to negotiate a better rate with your real estate agent if you decided to go with a real estate agent. Thinking about, if there's 12, 15 properties in your street and you own all of them, that would be a full-time job. Anyway, you wouldn't really need to hire a real estate agent because everyone would be paying you. I mean, I think I'm always a big fan of cutting out the middleman, and I think that you could get a way better rate and get way more money in your pocket if you were to go without a real estate agent. I'd like to hear from some of my listeners if they have ever had an experience with this. I mean, that would be a really interesting conversation. I'll be willing to chat with them on Discord about this, if anyone has ever owned a house next door. Now, I know a lot of people are going to have concerns about tenant privacy, about inspections, about handling maintenance at arm's length, because all of us have got emotional attachments to our properties. And the first thing we feel when a real estate agent calls us is, oh no, what's happened? What's happened now? And that feeling of, oh, a door needs to be replaced, or this, or that, and then going through the itemized bill, it really sucks because you can't contact the tenant directly because that's an attack, that's harassment. But it has to go through the real estate agent, and to me, I feel like cutting out a real estate agent would be good, but then I wouldn't be able to keep it at arm's length if something happens to one of my properties. But there you go. But back onto the portfolio of properties on one street, that's a really interesting idea. Think of it this way. Imagine building a double complex of apartments, right? Wouldn't you need quite a lot of land for that? So if it would be possible to, say, knock them all down and build a street full of apartments, or a street full of duplexes, or a street full of three-story townhouses or something very luxurious, set up, your own sort of corner, your own river road, if you would. That would be a really interesting idea, whether you could do that. I'm sure if you owned the whole street, the council would let you, because they wouldn't have any reason not to, other than occupancy and concerns on the sewer lines and whatnot. But other than that, I think it would be a pretty good deal. Anyway, that's all for today. Those are my thoughts on buying the house next door and why you should buy the house next door and build your own property empire within your own street, putting the Lord or emphasizing the Lord in landlord. That's all for today, and thank you for listening to the Blue Gum Podcast. So we all